Welcome back to Truth or Theory. This is episode 89, and today is a glorious day for America.
Is it?
It is.
What day is it?
Today is the 4th of July, Independence
Oh,
Day.
wow.
This marks the 245th anniversary of this great nation, and I love it.
Beautiful.
America.
America, baby. Sorry, Red Coat listeners, but we won that time. Who are you, sir? You didn't announce yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm JP, of course, always.
And I'm E. Willie, the other white meat. Welcome back to our show. We're gonna do cheers to good news, kind of just cheers to good news already. We'll just cheers to America, man.
Yeah.
For the fact that we get to even do these silly episodes and
Love it.
do whatever the hell we want. Freedom. Yeah, we have a cool guest on. We didn't get a chance to learn too much about him because of our break right now. We're recording this on 4th of July, which is in the middle of our summer break, but we're building up a library. By the time you hear this, you won't know any different. It's just another episode.
It's all going to make sense.
He's going to explain to us who he is and his books and all that good stuff, and we're going to have a good time.
I'm pumped.
Yes. And then JP and I are going to grill and make some good American food.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's do this. Welcome to our show, Mr. J.W. Northrup. And
hello.
Yeah, hello, man. I'm rusty. We take a break right now, so this is like our first guest episode in a little while, so forgive our rustiness.
No problem.
That trolls in the background in the corner? You have trolls up there?
I'm sorry. Is that toward me?
Yeah, in your background on the shelf by your books, is that some trolls?
Oh, okay.
Little figurines?
I'm following. Yeah, there are some trolls back there.
Okay.
They come from a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember when they were huge. It's kind of hard to take you serious with all the knickknacks because we don't do that kind of stuff here. Yeah, our backdrop is just full of stuff. So how you doing, Mr. JW?
I'm doing really well on this 4th of July. It's very hot here in Salt Lake. And I'm very happy.
I don't know you're in Salt Lake. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm from the area myself. Well, kind of.
Yeah, and it's very hot today. But last week we had a air conditioner installed, so I don't care.
Ooh, that is nice.
You got the central air now or what?
Yes, I had a swamp cooler, and it was so loud it's hard to talk over it,
Yeah.
And it didn't do anything over 80 degrees, so we were sweating. But yeah, this is great. So I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, usually with the swamp cooler, you have one room that's ice cold and the other ones aren't affected at all.
Besides being on a huge podcast, what plans do you have today, man?
To continue working, I'm promoting the books I've been writing. I'm just getting into this. I've been doing this for like probably 20 years, but I've never really actively worked on selling my books. And so I'm writing, little ditties that you can put on Facebook and little articles that we could put on blogs, things like that, just to get it going, because I really want to quit my job and be a writer full time.
That would be awesome, man. I would love to quit my job and do podcasts full time.
That's our goal.
Yeah. So, it's just a matter of, getting yourself heard amongst the masses,
Absolutely.
Podcast is a good way to do it. You'll get a lot of people exposed to your books.
This is the new news. People get their news
Media.
from podcasts nowadays. Yeah, like the new media. They don't go to the news. They don't go to this
Thank
mainstream
God.
stuff anymore. They hear it from real people saying real things, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering what's on the news, I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
So you said about 20 years ago, what got you into wanting to write?
I've always been kind of a person who has different ideas that doesn't go along with the mainstream, who kind of views the world as kind of a bit of a neurotic place to live at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come up with these ideas, and I decided to write stories about them. And even back then, I wanted to be an author. That was the thing I really enjoyed. And so I just started doing it. I did get a agent to represent me, but didn't do a very good job. So I kind of took a loss on it and stopped for a few years. But lately, now that I am 63 years old, I kind of want to get out of the grind of the day-to-day job,
Yeah.
and do what I actually want to do. It took me 63 years to figure that out, but yeah.
Some people never do. That's
Hey,
awesome.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's
You're
true.
chasing the dream, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I've
So what was
decided that that's every real successful person always says the same thing: do what you want,
Hmm.
and I've always been doing what I should do, and that hasn't worked for me.
That's the story of my life.
Yeah, a lot of people's lives. In fact, most people's lives, I think.
so how did you decide what would be your first book, and what was it?
My first book was called The Gold Slaves, and uh, I'm promoting it now. And it was kind of a strange concept. I just thought, what if uh, people lived inside the earth and they had no clue there was such a thing as an outside?
Mm.
That's trippy.
They just had, the universe is solid, and that's the way it is. So my whole concept is that they step out of this cave, right? Just by chance, by mere chance, and they go, "What the hell is this?" You know,
Right.
and their viewpoint completely and utterly changes. And the philosophies, the beliefs they've had, come crashing down to nothing. And I just thought it was a cool concept. So then I just expanded on it and went, well, how would they be stuck in the earth? How would that happen? And then I figured out that, okay, build a whole story around it saying, well, there was a mining company that successfully disconnected these people from the earth. There's a very selfish miner who wanted all the gold to himself. And so he found a way to brainwash these people into believing that the universe was solid. So he got a group of people that lived underground, and they began burrowing through the ground. And the miners would had these chutes that went down into the mine, and these people would donate their gold to the gods. They thought they were gods. This was part of the brainwashing. So what they do is they donate gold to the gods in this chamber, and it magically disappears, and down comes food, because I had to figure out how to feed these people because they can't grow food underground. And from this came an entirely new idea about the people on the surface were very, very degraded and greedy and the worst of society. And the
Sounds
people
about right.
underground developed an incredibly beautiful spiritual civilization. And so this is what went on for over 100 years. The civilization, and you look at the people down under the ground and you go, wow, what a bunch of, how stupid can they be thinking they give gold to gods and the universe is solid? But it turns out that they have a far superior philosophy than the people above. And they are much saner than the people above. So I don't know if you're following all this or this
Oh,
is making
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah, I'm in, man. I'm definitely in.
I've got some thoughts. It kind of sounds like it's really not too far fetched from people today, because all
Yeah,
we have is money. Like, you
it's
have
kind
to
of
give
a
money for food, or you're not going to have food.
yeah. It
That's
almost feels like a metaphor too for how we really are right now,
yeah.
and that
Right. And the people on the surface are, I mean, the way they got these people to brainwash was using drugs, using pain, using brainwashing techniques. And they start using them on the company up above.
Mm.
And it sounds a whole lot like my nemesis in life is the psychiatric profession that thinks that you drug people to make them sane,
That's
uh,
interesting.
and it degrades them, and they're degraded. It's like Las Vegas up there, and the people are very materialistic uh, and into materialistic things, and the people down below are totally spiritual, if you can believe it, being inside the earth. But they take it from the viewpoint that man is a spiritual being, and up above they think man is a brain that that has urges and desires, and that's all he is. Kind of like our society is becoming, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You know? So the whole point is two of these people, though, but from underground, kind of start looking at it and going, wait a minute, why are we giving gold to gods if we're supposed to live a spiritual existence? This doesn't make any sense. And so they end up following a cave network and again stepping out into the world and going, what the hell is this? And they begin to realize they've been deceived.
Right. Right.
Okay. Now the people on the surface seeing this are going, two of them got out. We need to hide this. And I could go on for an hour on this, but they want to destroy the people of space down below because they don't want people to know their secret.
Ah.
Exploiting these people for gold.
But at the same time, that's kind of biting the hand that feeds you because there's no more gold then.
Right. So there are a whole lot of very interesting characters in this book.
Yeah.
All I can say. The people on the surface, the people below. And what eventually happens is they try and suppress them, but they end up getting the news out. And just about when these guys are about to cave in the mines, they are discovered and the people are rescued. And the whole point is the people from underground go, you know what? We had this philosophy. We saw life from this crazy viewpoint, and we're a lot saner than these people up above, a whole lot saner. And they begin to realize that the people on the surface are just as myopic and trapped as the people underground. And they realize that they are just as ignorant as if they were 2,000 miles under the earth in a cave. And that's kind of the way I view people a lot. They're stuck in their little pre-programmed philosophies. They believe what they're told to believe, and they don't see where they're really at.
It's an interesting story, man.
Yeah,
it's
very clever.
And that's just one of a few books you've written, huh?
Yeah, and they're all based on the same theme, actually.
Okay.
Is it a continuation to this storyline?
Sequels?
Not directly, but indirectly.
Okay.
How many books do you have in total? How many books do you have in total?
Oh, I have 3 major ones, and about a half dozen minor ones.
That's awesome.
That is cool, man.
It's very interesting. Like I have a lot of thoughts about this. The same theory. That's very interesting. I like the idea.
What are you hoping to get out of these books besides like being known for writing them, the creativity of it? But like, what do you want the reader to come out of it with?
I mean, you look at the society around us, and it's a kind of a media-driven pound these quote facts into people, and if you do it enough, they'll believe you. So people will believe anything if they're told enough, and people don't a lot of times just don't see what's really right in front of their nose. They are so media driven. They are so stimulus response driven by the world around them. which leads to really my other book, which I think you guys will like. It's called Brainography,
Okay.
and it's a
Explain
satire.
that.
And uh, it's basically about, it's a satire about how life is viewed by our materialistic scientists that say that what you think, what you're doing right now, you talking to me right now, and what I'm doing right now is just a result of evolution, the laws of physics and chemistry that have formed and created our brain. And that's how we operate. In other words, the brain is a physical thing, and therefore you are a physical thing. And you have no ability to reason, you don't have a judgment or awareness, because that is a spiritual thing. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I say you're listening to a radio, and what's coming out of the radio is insane. So the modern scientist will say, well, you need to fix the radio so it says the right things, rather than fix the person who's talking on the radio.
Okay.
And the whole idea is that you are a spiritual being, you are not a brain.
That is
And
interesting.
therefore, you are responsible for your condition. If you are a brain, you are not responsible for your condition. It's just stimulus response. It just acts the way it acts according to the laws of physics and chemistry. So therefore, if you, I don't know, murder someone, it is because your brain told you to do it, as opposed to you decided.
Is that what you believe, or are you saying that's what the science?
The science, if you take science to its logical end,
Mm-hmm.
they say you are just a physical thing, right? If you use something controversial, if you're depressed, and it's chemicals in your brain, it has nothing to do with you. Therefore, right, you have to treat it like a chemical and do drugs or whatever, to fix it. You do not address the person as a spirit and why he is depressed.
That is interesting. It's like yeah, and with everything going on nowadays with modern medicine, and there's a pill for that, and there's a pill for that, and there's a pill for that.
There's a pill for that, and a pill for all the symptoms.
There's a pill for that pill.
Symptoms.
Yeah. So I take my book, Brainography, and I list out all these disorders, like racism disorder, Trump disorder, Obama disorder, punishment disorder, murder disorder, redneck disorder. I get really absurd, and each one has a solution as a fix on the brain to handle those, whereas it's really a spiritual matter. So we are creating a society of people who are victims, who think that their brain tells them what to do, and they are not responsible for their condition.
Right. It's just kind of like it's not my fault. It was the way I was raised.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So therefore, you need to take care of me. The whole thing behind welfare. These people have done all this to me. It's all my brain makes me do it. People did this to me, and you're not responsible for the condition you're in.
There you go.
Do you think that programming that we have with the pharmaceutical world, do you think it's all money driven, or do you think there's something else behind it?
Well, if you go back, and I read an article about this once. If you go back, I don't know, to the early 1900s, a lot of healing was not drugs. It was like natural remedies, things like that. But then Mr. Rockefeller discovered that drugs are are based on hydrocarbons, gas, basically oil byproducts. And he wanted to corner the market on this industry because he could make a whole lot of money doing this. So it started to become part of the institutions, the medical institutions, that it was all about drugs. And let me tell you, if you can get a person addicted to a drug, and I think you probably know that drugs treat symptoms, not causes, you've got them hooked for life. I mean, can you imagine uh, getting a child who has a condition, addicted to a drug, or given a drug as a solution, and what does he think from there on the rest of his life? He thinks, well, in order to fix this, I need the drug.
Right.
Okay. I believe personally that, I mean, I haven't seen a doctor for 20 years. And 20 years ago, I only saw a doctor because I had to get a checkup. I do not do drugs, and I never have. And I have seen, my girlfriend has a mother who's like over 90 years old, and she has absolutely nothing wrong with her and takes no drugs, and she's in great shape. Whereas my father, who died earlier this year, there was some point when he started taking doctors seriously and started getting medicated, and anything that was wrong with him required a medication. And these created symptoms that needed to be treated with other symptoms that had side effects, and then you had to have a drug for that side effect. And I just got turned off by the whole thing.
I'm kind of curious while we're on the subject about how do you feel about like a natural medication, herbs
Remedy.
and things like that, and different kinds of, I mean, there's not a full-blown prescription, but you know what I mean, like a natural healing.
Yeah, my girlfriend goes to a homeopathic doctor,
Yeah.
and that's all she's ever gone to. Uh, I agree with it as long as, to tell you the truth, I agree with any drug
Hmm.
as long as it isn't a solution to a mental thing, you know?
Okay.
Man, that hits home with me right now because I'm in a situation right now. I've been on medication for mental crap, and I really want to get off of it. And I've been told by my soon-to-be ex-wife, I guess you call her. Sounds rude, but Kate, that she's scared of me when I'm off this medication because I'm a different person, and I'm trying to figure out a natural way to get off of this shit and have a balance to myself where I'm not
No,
a problem to be around, and I definitely do not want to be on medication.
I've heard
So
that story from so many people.
yeah, what do you suggest?
Well, for one thing, don't just go off it,
Right.
because what a drug does is, say you have this thing and it's doing this to you in your head,
Uh-huh.
bugging you. This is a problem. All right, you take a drug and it doesn't do it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Well, you get off the drug and it comes back. In fact, it usually comes back worse. Have you experienced that?
Yeah. I went a little while without it so I could try to get off of it, and then I was talked into going back into it.
Yeah,
Apparently I'm
and
a mess.
oh man, now that hits home with me because anybody who says that is just uh, evaluative and patronizing in the extreme, and it's not true. You know, it just isn't. But as far as coming off drugs, I would say you need to rehabilitate your body, because drugs are poisons to the body.
Right.
They essentially are, and it puts your body in a condition where it's in a state of uh, what's the word for it? Doesn't have enough minerals to run it, and So I think exercise, getting out. I think the most effective thing there is taking a walk and looking at things. Uh, Maybe seeing a homeopathic doctor who can naturally get yourself off this stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And there are various. I don't know. You probably have no agreement on coming off it, right? I mean, from your doctor.
I haven't brought it up to my doctor yet because I haven't figured out how to go about this yet. And I know doctors are all pro medicine and more medicine. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
come up with a slick way to do it where um, I'm not putting a spotlight on myself, but I want to go a more natural way. And like,
Well,
I'm a prepper mentally. Like I'm always prepared for shit to hit the fan, apocalyptic type stuff. And the fact that I'm on a medicine that I'm relying on a whole organized civilization to produce, that I'm screwed without it, and I'm going to have terrible withdrawals if I run out. I hate that. Like I don't want to have that kind of crutch. I want to be just free and be me. And so I'm going to get off of it soon. I'm going to wean off of it, and then try some kind of natural thing, or
yeah,
I don't know.
I actually, I mean, there are drug rehabilitation centers.
Yeah.
Uh, One's called Narcanon, uh, and along with uh, getting off a drug, it is physical, well, not physical, but it is doing things that help the person spiritually, because
Yeah.
honestly, the root cause of all of this is something going on spiritually with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I do not want to in any way point you out as you're less spiritual, or or there's something more wrong with you, because it's not true. It's just not. Uh, but that needs to be addressed. You know?
Yeah.
And
I've
you need to
I
take care of
talked
your
to a
body.
friend of mine recently about this too, and I was saying that I think a lot of my problems when I'm having these issues when I'm off the medicine too is circumstantial. Circumstances play a big factor in everything, and how I'm handling the circumstances. Poor dieting, just poor physical health. Whenever I'm working out consistently and eating better, I'm naturally way happier, and I have a nice high coming through my body. I think if I drowned out all my problems with that kind of a lifestyle change, it would really fix a lot
Yeah.
of those crutches.
And here's my point. And this is the whole point behind this book I called Brainology, and why it's a satire. People are going to be more than willing to make you a victim and give you a drug as a solution. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just big business. And
Mhm.
honestly, that's all it is. But I'll give you an example. There was a time in my life when I had a job, and it was very stressful for me. And I'd get home and uh, grab a bottle of wine and just like, hell with it, you know.
Yeah.
But then I got into something actual physical that was beneficial to my body. I got into running. Okay. After a while, you have to work up to it, but after a while, I got pretty fit. So I would come home from work and I would be tired as hell, same thing, uh, and just want to lay down on the couch because it's so easy, and turn on the TV and crack open a beer. Uh, but I knew that the result of that would be just further just fog, and
Yeah.
tiredness. And when you're tired, your mind starts going on and thinking about your problems. When you're not tired, you think of good things. When you're tired, you think of negative things. And then when you think of negative things, it turns them on. And when it turns them on, then it affects you. So I would somehow get myself to walk out the door. If I could get one step out the door and start running, I would generally run for 5 to 10 miles, get home, and feel wonderful and go, what the hell was I? Why was I so upset? I can't even remember.
Yeah. That's so
Uh,
true. That's awesome that
yeah,
you can run that much.
yeah. Well, that's another story.
Yeah.
I have a story on there. It's called "Running a Marathon with the Runs." You on my website. You got to read that because that's the most hilarious story. One of the most hilarious stories I've ever written.
Where can we
But
find
it's
that?
a true story. It's a true story too. Hmm?
Where can we find that story?
Uh, on my website.
Okay, we'll put a link down for everybody to check that out.
Yeah, J.W. North. It's one of my short stories, and I've had some real tales of woe. But anyway, back to uh, what we were talking about. Another thing. One day I had a friend. He said, "Hey, let's go rock climbing." I went, "Rock climbing?" Yeah. Okay. That thing put my attention, what I call in present time, right? So I was really there because when you're hanging on a cliff about 50 feet high, you're there.
Oh yeah.
And any problem you've had, any problem at work, any problem at home, any problem with your 401k or anything goes away. And it's just you and the rock. And it
That
brings
primitive
you,
connection.
yeah. And it literally cures you from what's ailing you. I mean, obviously it'll come back, that
Right.
kind of thing. But for a while, at least you can kind of do those things that make you uh, bring you into present time because all your problems are in the past. Nothing's in present time. So there's taking
That's
a
interesting.
walk, looking at things. I was walking the other day after I'd been listening to the freaking media, for a few weeks. And I went, wait a minute, this world isn't so horrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a good point. The media will definitely put you in a downward spiral because
Yeah.
there's nothing positive out of it.
Yeah, and I would say number one, stop listening to that. Stop listening to commercials.
Mm-hmm.
You feel bad? Take this drug. No.
And with all the side effects that are probably worse than the drug itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's you probably know what this term means. Upsell.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's upsell.
Mm-hmm.
You get the drug, and now you get the side effects. Now you can upsell.
Yeah, and you got to get a drug for those side effects.
Yeah, we're gonna see my being weaned off on the episodes as they go. It'll probably end up being around the 100 episodes where I get to that point. You guys tell me if y'all see a difference in me. I'm gonna start like twitching and shit while we record. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting off of it soon, man.
Well,
You
that's
got me
fabulous.
more motivated to do it, and I really think drowning it with physical health will definitely be my go-to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been addicted to anything, so I can't,
Yeah.
sit here and be an authority on that at all. But I
Yeah.
just know what worked for me, you know.
I know. I actually I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about this. I don't feel like I'm addicted to this medicine because I want to get off of it like right now, and I know I can. I just have to do it slowly, otherwise the withdrawals are bad. Does that mean I'm addicted to it, or does that just mean it has strong withdrawals? How does that
Mm,
work?
I
I,
would, my opinion,
Yeah,
um, any drug, um, by virtue of what it does, it dulls, and you probably noticed this, it dulls the person, right?
yeah,
And therefore, coming off of it kind of takes the thing it was dulling and bring it back. I heck, I've had times when I mean, I smoked for a while,
mm-hmm.
and I recognized that um, one day I was driving my car and I was smoking a cigarette and I went, oh my God, my lungs have been affected. I recognized that it was affecting me, and I just said, well, I don't want to do it anymore, and so I stopped. And I haven't had a smoke since. I think a lot of the problem is people get you into, well, you need to do this, you need Nicorette and this and that and that and that and that to get off it. No, you can do it. For you, it would be much harder, but you could.
yeah.
But I think, having a little help, because it's kind of extreme, it's a little more extreme, I think, than smoking. Although a lot of people wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I feel like personally, it would be a lot easier to quit than smoking. Smoking sounds like it's brutal to get rid of.
It
I've never had a
it honestly
tobacco
is.
addiction. I know you have a little bit,
Yeah,
huh?
nicotine definitely. I do the nicotine addiction thing, so it is hard. I mean, it definitely
It
is
seems
hard.
extremely
I don't
hard.
I don't smoke anymore, but I mean, still taking nicotine products that I'm trying to cut it down, because if I
Okay.
do go cold turkey, then there's those days where it's like I have to, I got to go to the store, I got to get it. Like
Yeah.
I'm, it's just driving me bonkers. I have to
Well,
have
I could say
something.
that about coffee.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
addicted to caffeine.
caffeine is a real thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
caffeine is a
Yeah.
real
And
deal.
and I remember there's a few times when I say won't have my morning coffee, and later that evening I'll have a headache. And
Hmm.
I won't connect it because I forgot that I hadn't been drinking coffee.
Yeah.
And suddenly I'll realize, oh, I haven't been drinking coffee. I have a head. That's where the headache comes from. And it always happens. Now I've
Yeah, for me
gone
too.
off coffee and had to put up with a week or so of feeling tired in the afternoon and
Hmm.
having headaches. But after that, the symptoms would go away.
Are you off caffeine too? You
No,
beat that?
I don't want to be.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, I can't connect on that one. I
But
think
with
I'm gonna
anything,
die addicted to caffeine.
with
I,
moderation, everything it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if you do it with moderation, you're all right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a mental thing either, and that's kind of or something damaging physically. So
Caffeine's natural too, so I mean, there's that.
yeah, there's that
You gotta
side of
use
it
There's
it.
a lot of
too.
natural things, teas and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
Caffeine's my best friend. Don't leave me. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a follow-up episode with you in about a couple months or so after I've already been completely cold of my medicine, and you tell me if you see a difference, and I'm gonna tell you where I've been with it, and we'll follow up on the struggles, and we can promote the next
Great.
book as well.
I, I really enjoyed this, by the way. Just so
Oh,
you
It was a
thank
know.
you.
lot of fun, man. You got a lot of
I,
insight. You got a lot of good ideas, and I love your stories. I want to get well, we're gonna get into that in a second, but we're definitely gonna have to get your book up on our wall here.
Yeah,
yeah.
we put our guest books up here. We don't have
Nice.
all of them, but we have the majority of them so far. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let me tell you my best book though, if you have
Oh,
time. If
yeah,
Whatever
you,
book you
definitely. Let's
recommend,
go.
absolutely.
okay, it's called Total Amnesia.
Say it one more time.
Total Amnesia.
Okay.
And so it started with, again, when I told you earlier, my concept for a book usually starts with a simple thing like, oh, what if we walked out of a cave? This one is, we're assuming that you, as a being, are a spiritual being. In other words, you're not a body.
Okay.
So, and this isn't controversial or anything. I think if you're a member of a religion, you acknowledge that. Uh, but anyway, so I started with that thesis, and then I said, okay, so why are we in a body? What is the reason for it? Why can't we just leave if we don't feel like being here, other than killing the body,
Right.
And so I came up with this story of a person has been around forever. And the only reason they're trapped in a body and trapped in a mind is because they have total amnesia about how they got there.
Mm.
So, trying to, well, I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, so
Is that a plug for the book?
the book starts with an invasion of Earth. Okay, and all the people on Earth are going to be killed. But I happen to know this one very exceptional person, and it turns out that she is the creator of this world. And she says, you are totally capable as a spiritual being. The problem is you are encased in a mind. So this mind is kind of like a 3D thing surrounding you.
Okay.
It isn't a brain. It's the brains are the controls to the body. That's basically what they are. The mind is what you think with. So this mind that has convinced you that you are a body, that you are a mind, and that you as a spiritual being can't do anything. So we get to a point where she says, I really need you to understand that you as a spiritual being can be anywhere you want, do anything you want, and you don't need a body. And I say, well, what's wrong with the body? And she says, well, there's nothing wrong with the body. Now, but imagine you are a car. Imagine you as a spiritual being have been convinced that you are a car. And you are locked in a car. And from that point of view, you see the world. So you drive, imagine the restrictions that would be put on you. You can only drive on a road. I'm not explaining this well.
No, I'm following you. I think that's a good metaphor. Keep going.
Yeah.
You got that.
But but you can also get out of the car if you want, right?
Yeah.
You can leave it. You can buy a new one if you want it. You can upgrade it. You can not have a car if you don't want to have a car. But that's the same as you and a body.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Vessel.
it's just a vessel. Okay. So she shows me, she's been trying to solve this problem with people in this universe. And she shows me a viewer that allows me to see how they take a spiritual being and trap them, literally. And when I see this, she shows me where they do this. They have these trap ships out in the universe,
Mm-hmm.
and they entice spiritual beings like you and me to go there, and then they zap them and they trap them. And then they trap them in a mind and trap them in a body. And now they're human. And now they're confined to an atmosphere, to a body on a planet, and that's all they know now.
Wow.
Programming.
Yeah. It's kind of the universe-wide program.
Yeah.
But
Could be
anyway,
like a
so
simulation kind of or something.
Yeah. Everything ties to the simulation to me.
but anyway, I look at this view of this happening and I completely and utterly freak out. And she says, oh my God, that what is happening, what you're seeing is happening is what happened to you. And the reason you are freaking out is because despite the fact that it may have happened a billion years ago, it is still in you and it is still why you are trapped.
It is a scary thought. Like there's really no escape. Like you said, even if you kill the body, you're gonna go up there. They're gonna trap you. They're gonna send you back. You're in a new body.
Yeah, there's a homing device.
Yeah.
You know, the go into the light thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's an actuary computerized distribution center that sends you to the next body.
Yeah. Truthfully, I'm happy with my body now, so I'm not gonna pull the. I'm not gonna
Look at
hit
JP.
I can't hit the reset button. I'm okay. I'll live it out.
Well, wait till you get my age, and then you start getting pains, and you're starting to go, well, I don't want to experience this. You know, I need a new model here.
Wouldn't it be something if you could remember everything from a past life into your new life, and you can just build and build and build and
Cool.
just
You'd be
you learn from your mistakes over and over, and it'd be
That is
interesting.
that is the entire point. And so, as a result of this, she takes me to this place where a being, a spirit, is attached to a mind, and this mind tells you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for instance, you say, I want to fly across the universe, the mind will absorb that thought and make it all just fantasy, when in fact literally as an untrapped spiritual being, do it. You can do that. You
Wow.
can do anything. So anyway, we end up experiencing these incidents, and as we do this, this amnesia starts fading away, and I recall who I am, who I was, how I got here, and I regain my ability to be who I am, just a spiritual being. And I can have a body if I want, or I can not have a body. It is totally up to me. I can think what I think, and I am not told what to think. And I mean, my whole point is people are natively free spirits,
Right.
you
Right.
know. And as with any religion, they say, well, you can be free. Well, how? Well, this is a technique of how you can, an actual physical technique of what you can do. It's not faith, it's not belief in anything. It's an actual technique where you take a person and you get them to recall the significant incidences that in their lifetimes that frees them from the constraints that they're in.
Wow.
So
JW, have you ever done mushrooms before? I want to do
no.
mushrooms with you.
Would be
I
interesting.
want to see what kind of shit you see when you're tripping, man. I want to experience it with you. Let's go to another
well,
realm.
but the problem is this book is actually true.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But
Man,
you
yeah,
like that kind of stuff, that this kind of expansive viewpoint and getting out of this day-to-day stuff, right?
It's an interesting thought though, right? Like even like a lot of people who have no form of, physical illness or mental illness or anything like that, they just want to expand the mind. So the way to do that was some form of psychedelic or something to take you to another place to expand.
Yeah, and it's even better if it's just you can just do it anyway. If it's like no big deal.
Well, you might get called crazy.
In
I
other
get
words,
called that all the time.
if I don't need something to make me think a certain way, that I just think the way I want to think,
Right. Yeah. That's true.
So,
We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to jump into the 6 questions and then we'll be
all right.
done.
Okay.
Let's take a break, guys. Let's see. All right, we're back, guys. We're going to do the 6 questions with our guest, JW Northrup. He is the author of many cool books that you just saw a nice little slide of, and you need to go get them. The only way to actually read them is to buy them.
That's right.
Support our guests, get the books, enjoy them. Let us know what you thought of them. Leave some feedback, leave some reviews. We appreciate it, especially iTunes reviews too. Give us some more iTunes reviews. We need some more of those. Those 5 stars go a long way. Gets us in the algorithm. So, Mr. JW, the 6 questions begin now. Number 1. You have the power to make one law. Which law do you create and why?
This was my idea. I don't know if it's very good, the writable law, but I think it should be that you should reward able and successful people and not reward, and this will be controversial, victims. And the reason
I see where you're going with that. I like it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's kind of a rich get richer vibe.
Yeah.
Well,
they got the welfare victims and people not trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the current, you hear on the news, if you're stupid enough to listen to it, that people are now they're having trouble hiring people because they make more money off unemployment.
Yes.
That's a huge problem right now.
Yeah.
They're being rewarded for being victims.
My uncle called it unenjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
And the quote, rich people are just evil.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is you take anybody in this world, any bum on the street or any lower middle class person, and you say, what would you like? They would all like to be rich and wealthy and have everything they have. And I think personally, we have the resources on this planet for everybody to do well.
Oh yeah.
We just don't want to, because we're pretty greedy, But I think if you reward people who are capable and you don't reward people that are not capable, you get more people that are capable.
That makes damn good sense, man. If you put the work in and you grind, and then you get the prize and the rewards, not just sitting on the sidelines waiting for everybody to take care of you.
I wish hard work was rewarded.
Yeah.
It's
I
degrading.
wouldn't get it, but I would be proud of you, JP, for getting it.
You work hard?
I work hard, yeah, kind of, sometimes. Number 2, what 3 words would you choose to describe yourself?
One is a spirit. In other words,
It's
I don't
humble.
consider I'm a physical thing. I'm not a victim of physics. Athletic. I'm a marathon runner. Again, you got to read my stories on marathons. You'll crack
We
you
will.
up.
That
You ran
sounds
more miles than I've ran in my life.
yeah. For sure.
I've rock climbed. I'm a fly fisherman. I'm a hiker. I was a pro skier for a couple days, and anything athletic I love.
Good.
So it's not as if a spiritual being can't have fun with a body and play games. In fact, I think that's what they're for.
I agree. We're in the next state over in Colorado, so you want to do a kayaking trip with me?
All right.
Let's do it.
I'll do it.
So, all right. So your 3 words, you got spiritual. What else? Did I miss the other 2?
Athletic.
Spiritual, athletic, and what's your last one?
God, I forgot the other one. What was that? Adventurer.
There you go.
Very cool.
Anything you want to do that isn't surely death leading to, I'm up for. I like to do anything.
That's awesome.
Utah really is a beautiful state. They have a lot of weird laws and whatnot, but the state itself is beautiful state. You got
I live in Salt Lake City, and I'm like 15 minutes from Snowbird Ski Resort and 11,000 feet of gorgeous mountains and lakes.
I used to live in Ogden at one point, and we used to go up to a Powder Mountain night ride all the time to snowboard.
I've skied Powder Mountain at night.
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
Yes,
that's awesome. All right, number 3. What do you want to be remembered for?
That's always a hard one, but I would like to be remembered as someone who helped people be free as opposed to help people be controlled.
Love it.
I don't like to deal with people, or I don't like trying to control people. And I think if you just allow people to be who they are and stop hassling them, people will do the right thing. And if you try to control people, people just react. And that's something I've always been good at, is being a good terminal or person for someone to talk to, because I don't make them wrong. And that's what I want to be remembered for.
It's good.
Yep, I like it too. Number 4, what is something you like that most people don't know about you?
This. I put that down because I have written a lot of stories, and I haven't. A lot of people like at work. I work now as a mechanical designer, just because it pays the money and gives you the insurance and all that stuff. They don't know what I do. They don't know about this.
Really?
And this is going back to the fact that at this point in my life, it's time to start putting myself out there. And
I'm proud of you for doing that. It's not easy to do, and
it isn't.
Especially being a writer, you're naturally an introvert, and it's you're exposing yourself in a lot of ways. But I think it'll help you big time getting your creativity and your creations out.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Number 5, if you could have any superpower, which would you choose and why?
The power to free people from the constraints of the mind.
Wow.
How about that?
That's a
a
first.
That's
Yeah.
a first.
Congratulations. We've had a lot of answers and we don't get a lot of firsts.
That's episode
Well,
8,
I
man.
think that's the whole problem. I mean, honestly, the reason you and me and anybody else on this planet aren't happy doesn't have to do with, I mean, yeah, there's physical things that can be a problem, but really it comes down to the mind. And if you can free the mind, then you free a person to be, do, and have whatever they want. Because the only reason a person is wealthy and rich or happy or whatever is because they decided they can be. And the only reason a person is sad, depressed, unhappy is because they decide they are. The mind is the key.
Absolutely.
100%. Final question, number 6. If you could know the absolute truth on any conspiracy theory, which would you choose?
Why? I guess you could say my conspiracy theory is taking people, naturally free, uh, spiritual beings, and convincing them that they are nothing but a physical, biological machine or object. And I would like to know exactly how that occurred. I mean, maybe it was Pavlov and his dogs, you know. Somebody came up with that idea that people need to be controlled because they're physical things, and it's kind of caught on in mankind. And I would like to resolve that in my own mind as to why that is.
I wonder if that goes all the way back to the Anunnaki, getting the man to do what they needed to do.
The what?
The Anunnaki,
Ancient history, ancient alien type
ancient
theories.
beings, yeah, that came down and kind of made the mankind in their image, but it made them
Wow.
to basically do what they wanted to do.
Thank you for answering my question.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
No, I'm kidding.
You heard it here first,
I
guys.
can't take credit on that one, but yeah, if you haven't looked into Anunnaki, look into them. They're super interesting. It's my personal favorite.
Yeah.
I like that. At some point, though, and I'll go back even further in my book, Total Amnesia. At some point, beings in this universe decided that they didn't want people to be free and do anything they want. They wanted control. And everything they've been doing has been to make sure mankind is controlled. He does what they want him to do. And, you know, that's the purpose of a mind. You get a person thinking right. Purpose of a body to get them in a state where they can be pushed, right? Or threatened or inflicted with pain, and you can control them that way. So where does this begin?
So it all comes down to, it seems.
Deep Thoughts by J.W. Northrup.
Yeah, there you go. Well, JW, it's been a pleasure having you on our show. Welcome to our network of cool people. We can't wait to have you back on. We're going to dive into it more. Let's give JW a round of applause for his first podcast.
Hey.
He did a great job.
Well done,
Thank
sir.
you very much. I really appreciate this. If you call me anytime, I'll be there.
Awesome. I'll be in touch with you on all the show notes and going forward with this. And we're going to get a book from you as well for the studio. So,
Right. So
JW,
you from a link I can send it to.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Also, tell us right now where can our listeners find you? Where you got websites, you got social media, all that good stuff.
I have j.w.northrup. You know, that's social media, Instagram, LinkedIn.
That's the hub. Huh?
Perfect.
It's and my website is jwnorthrup.com, and that's pretty much got everything on it. books available. They're available on Amazon, but you can go to that website to order them.
Okay. And just for listeners, how do you spell your last name? Just because.
Oh, Northrup.
Okay.
Thanks
Perfect.
for that. The OP is common.
Yes.
Good job, JP. We're pros now, man.
Yeah.
Pound, high five,
Hey.
whatever. Let's
Also,
do this.
you can find me at TOTJP.
You can find me at Real E Willie, and I have a link tree now where you can get all my damn links.
Oh,
So
you got a link?
yeah, that's the way to do
Okay.
it. Link
I didn't
tree.
know that. Okay.
Put all the links on one site. So if you don't have a
Nice.
website like Mr. JW, Linktree is the way to do it. Yeah, go check out our stuff, guys. Please support our show by buying some of the merch, subscribing, leaving reviews, comments. All that stuff is very appreciated. And until next time, JP. Woke Wolf Pack. Oh, oh.